Hello everybody and welcome to the Wild West. Well, not really, but very very close to it. Okay, not that much close. Anyway, today, as the title of this video says, our theme is 10 interesting facts about the Wild West. We will take a ride to the really brutal world and we will find out more about it. So let's go! Fact number 1. Camels once roamed Texas plains. In 1856, the U.S. Camel Corps was an experiment by the United States Army. They suggested using camels as pack animals in the Southwest, which the Army declined. Shortly after the Civil War started, this experiment was abandoned. Any and all camels were sold at auctions. Camels are really beautiful and funny animals. I should create an episode on them one day. Fact number 2. The California Gold Rush wasn't the first in America. 1799 in Cabarrus County, North Carolina, a young boy found a gold nugget while fishing on his property. When he showed his father, they were unsure as to what it was. It wasn't until a few years later that he took it to a jeweler. After he sold it, he learned its true value and began searching for more gold on his property, successfully finding more pieces. The second major gold rush was in Georgia, in 1828. It is unclear as to who made the first discovery, but many claims came from northern Georgia, and soon, many prospectors were flocking to find the gold. Eventually, in the East and White County, more gold was being found in creeks and rivers. The famous California Gold Rush occurred in 1848 at Sutter's Mill. James Wilson Marshall was constructing a sawmill along the American River when he found gold. Although he discovered it in January, no one believed the account at first. It wasn't until May of 1848 when a storekeeper brandished bottles with gold dust that thousands made their way to California to get their gold. Fact number 3. The oldest settlement in the U.S. is Acoma Pueblo. Jamestown was settled in 1607, but Acoma Pueblo in New Mexico has been established since 1150 AD, making it the oldest community in North America that has been continuously inhabited. It is a federally recognized Indian tribe, home to 4,800 tribal members, and is known as their Sky City. Fact number 4. Elmer McCurdy's body traveled more in death than in life. During his first train robbery, Elmer McCurdy only escaped with less than $500, causing his partners to drop him. After finding another group to run with, he was shot dead during another robbery. No one claimed the body, so the funeral home owner decided to claim him, embalm the body, and turn him into a display piece. In 1916, someone impersonating a relative of McCurdy's was able to take the body and put it on display. This started the journey his body took, being passed from shows to carnivals. After enough moving around, people seemed to forget that this was the real body of Elmer McCurdy and not a prop. It wasn't until December of 1976, during an episode shoot of The $6 Million Man, that people discovered it was a real body. His body was finally laid to rest in April of 1977. Fact number 5. The famous OK Corral shootout wasn't much of a shootout. The well-known shootout occurred between the Earp brothers Morgan, Virgil, Wyatt Doc Holliday, Billy Claiborne, Billy and Ike Clanton, and Frank and Tom McClory. It has been discovered that this major shootout only lasted 30 seconds and it wasn't at the OK Corral at all. But it was close. This gunfight occurred near the intersection of 3rd Street and Fremont Street in Tombstone, Arizona. Although, there still was a lot of bloodshed, as 3 lawmen were injured and 3 cowboys were killed. Fact number 6. The first quick-draw gunfight occurred in Springfield, Missouri. It was between the famous gunslinger Wild Bill Hickok and a man named Davis Tutt. The two had had a money dispute over gambling winnings. Tutt underwrote other gamblers in an attempt to clean Hickok out and run him out of town. But Hickok won, and Tutt demanded $40 from Hickok over a previous deal about a horse. According to Tom Clavin's Wild Bill, the true story of the American frontier's first gunfighter, Hickok gave Tutt the $40 then and there, but Tutt then demanded another $25. When Hickok wouldn't budge, Tutt grabbed Hickok's pocket watch from the table. The following day, Tutt brandished it about the town square of Springfield, Missouri, on the morning of July 21, 1865. Hickok had tried to reason with Tutt, but the man refused. Just before 6 p.m., Hickok warned Tutt not to wander across the square with that watch. Tutt reached for his gun, Hickok reached for his. The two paused, then drew, with Hickok finishing the fight by sending a bullet through Tutt's heart. It was the first quick-draw fight ever recorded. Word about it spread, and 2 years later the above illustration accompanied an article in Harper's New Monthly magazine. Fact number 7. A lot of bison were slaughtered. Millions of bison, with estimates ranging from 10 to 30 million, roamed America in the early 1800s. By the early 1900s, there were less than 1,000. The American buffalo were ruthlessly slaughtered. Most of them were shot by people commissioned by the United States Army or the Army itself. The American buffalo was a primary source of food and hide for Native Americans, and the United States wanted to wipe them out, beginning in 1830. "Every buffalo dead is an Indian gone," one colonel said during a hunting expedition. Buffalo Bill Cody himself is attributed with killing 4,000 bison in 2 years. In 1889, they reached their lowest level with only 256 buffalo in captivity. Today, the bison population has increased to 150,000 to 200,000. If you want to see bison in the wild, check out Yellowstone National Park. Fact number 8. Cowboys didn't wear 10-gallon hats. Hats were necessary for most outdoor activities in the Old West, but they weren't wearing those oversized headpieces called 10-gallon hats. Those were made popular in the 1920s, via Hollywood depictions of cowboys. Instead, cowboys and ranchers, farmers, and people of most other professions wore a flat-brimmed Stetson called the Boss of the Plains. John Stetson himself noticed that the hats being worn in the plains were unsuitable for the weather. Hats made of straw, silk, fur, and wool were too hot in the summer or absorbed or captured rain during the spring. The Boss was lightweight, waterproof, and durable. The inside was insulated enough that it could be used as a bucket of water for a horse, while the brim shed water and was wide enough to protect the neck and eyes from the sun. They retailed for $4.50 and were made with Nutria-Fur. That's about $74 in today's purchasing power. The photo above was taken in 1883 of the Dodge City Peace Commission. Some of them are wearing Boss hats. Fact number 9. Gun control was stricter back then. When you envision the Old West, you might think that everyone in a saloon had a 6-shooter on their hip and an 1873 Winchester under their hotel pillow. That's not true, at least not in many fledgling towns on the new frontier. Many towns, like Deadwood, Dodge City, Abilene, and Tombstone, had laws prohibiting carrying guns in town. You had to check your guns at the local sheriff, who'd give you a token in exchange, like a coat check, but for guns. Exceptions were made for residents, who could keep their guns in their home. Fact number 10. Many brands from the Old West are still around. If you were transported to the Old West and you were planted somewhere with a decent general store, you'd find some familiar brands, like Quaker Oats, Royal Baking Powder, Baker's Chocolate, Durkee, Arm & Hammer, Fleischmann's Yeast, and Pillsbury Flour. And with this one we will conclude this episode. This was quite a ride, and if you enjoyed it, be sure to shoot that subscribe button faster than the cowboys robbing banks. And this theme is over. Till next time, see ya.